Hello all, welcome to Oracle Fusion Hub's ADF tutorials. In the last tutorials we have seen the basics of ADF Mobile and how to work with various web services, etc. So in the current tutorial we will see how we can log the debug messages. Most of the time during the starting days of the development, we normally face a lot of issues with the various parts of the working code. Like how, sometimes we will run it in the Android device or the emulator, and we will not be able to see the desired feature or working. And at that point of time, you will be wondering what happened behind the scenes, behind the UI. And unfortunately, JDeveloper has no mechanism to capture those errors when it is running in the emulator or the real Android device. So today's tutorial is all about logging the debug messages inside your Android emulator. More basically, we are talking about the emulator stuff, the Android emulator. Um, so, so let us start doing that in action. So, for this, let us create a new application. Let us create an ADF mobile application. I'll name it as test logger, and click next and finish it. So this will create an ADF mobile project, and we will add a feature to it. This feature can be home page, and click OK and go to the content, and I'm going to add a normal simple page only for the logging. So I'll name it as index.amx, and this is my index.amx, and I'll save this, and before that I'll add a new class. This would be my test log class, and here let's say I have a string response equal to, and I would have some accessors to it, and in the get response I shall do some normal action. I shall write some logging commands here. So entering get response method, and now I shall write setting up the response value, and then I'll set the response value equal to it's working, and I'll write system println response value plus response, and I'll return the response. And just to make sure that we'll be having a lot of entries, log entries. So how do we make sure that we are actually, it's easy for us to append with our own unique variable or stuff like that. So what I'll do is I'll write Oracle Fusion Hub. So this would be my unique identifier which identifies my log messages. Okay, so now I'll save this, and I'll go to my index page, and before that I'll actually generate data control for this. in order for that to be available in data controls. So then I'll go to my index page, and you must be knowing, just double click it and click preview, so that you'll be having the preview mode. And in the test log I would get the address for this would be my output text with label. Just click on it, and right now the label is something different. Let us keep it like that. We'll change it later. Um, if but it's okay. I think I can change it. So my label would be name or response. So just save it. So now you have your application ready for testing. So make sure that your Android emulator is running on your machine, and now I'll deploy it into the server. So deploy. We'll create a new deployment tool if it is necessary, and this would be in debug mode, or you should make sure that this would be in debug mode. Um, so just deploy it in the regular mode, and look at the log. So while this Android application is being deployed, we will see how we can make sure that we will enable the logging for this component. For this, there is a tool in Android SDK. So in your local machine, go to the folder where you have installed your Android SDK. So I am going to my Android SDK folder, and here go to tools directory, and here you have a utility called DDMS. So this is the utility which we will use to actually trace our log messages. So run the utility DDMS. These variable, I mean, even though the path is different for a Windows machine, the rest would be same. For a Windows machine, you would normally write just DDMS and nothing else. So the moment you ran a DDMS, you will have a Java applet. A Java applet will start running, and yeah. So this is the uh, debug monitor. It's called Dalvik debug monitor, and this is the monitor where you can look for the various log messages, and you can basically check the flow. It not only logs your messages, it logs almost every other message on the Android phone. So let us look at the uh, progress of this deployment. Deploying ADF Mobile framework to Android emulator. This might take a few minutes. In my earlier tutorials, I've seen I've showed you people like how to reduce the overall deployment time. You can use that, but since if you remove that debug message that I've shown you there, um, that will normally um, be a debug option, And of course, now the deployment failed due to one or more errors returned by my emulator. It says install failed, insufficient storage. Basically, this is because of my machine, I mean my Android emulator not being set up properly. So I would go to my SDK manager and I'll start my machine. I make sure that you check wipe users data whenever you're facing that issue, because that issue happens because there is not enough memory that is left in the Android device. So when you encounter such issues, you just need to restart it, or you can add extra memory to it. And since I'm having constraints with memory on my machine, I'm not going to add extra memory to it, but wipe my data whenever it is required. So I'll wait till this starts. Now my Android device is up and running on the emulator. I would deploy my app once again. My Android app has been deployed on the emulator. Let me open it. Now the app is running, and it says the response is it's working. So let us switch on our DDMS tool. It was somehow disconnected. The Dalvik debug monitor has been switched on. So let us query with our message. So we have appended with Oracle Fusion Hubs, and here we see at the load time 11 28 22 49, you are I mean the application is com.company.testlog. That is what we have named so far. So we have the response Oracle entering a get response method, setting up the response value. Response value is it's working. Entering a get response method, setting up the response value, and response is it's working. So so this is quite working on the machine. Hope you enjoyed learning how to log debug messages in Oracle ADF Mobile. Thank you. See you on next tutorial.